Today, I'm thankful for core values and company culture. So you may have heard this quote by Peter Drucker. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. And I agree. Although strategy is very important. If you don't have the right culture, you're not going to have the right team. And if you don't have the right team, it's pretty hard to implement the strategy on your own. And a lot of that comes back to setting your core values very intentionally. If you don't set your core values and think about how your company culture is molded and created and guided, you will get culture by default instead of culture by design. And culture by default can take you to places you don't want to go, right? You don't want the inmates running the asylum, if you will. You don't want the tribe running off and going into weird corners of their minds. It can be bad for business, right? So, core values. These are the guiding principles of your company. They represent who you are, and you should be using them to hire and fire and to make decisions about actions that you're taking in the company, and using them as a filter for not only people, but what you're going to do and how you're going to react. And if you have an issue with a customer, run it through your core values and see if the way that you plan to react to that issue with the customer aligns with your core values. And the core values can be very helpful to keep even the owner on the steady course of what we really believe in as a company and we really believe in as a group of people working together. There's many different types of culture, right? So I've heard the term, those guys have bad culture. Well, more often than not, they just have different culture, right? And you might not be the right fit for different cultures. I know I've not been the right fit for other cultures, and I know that one of the big reasons I started my own business was to set the culture on my own, make it my own, set the culture myself, and also set the culture around what customers we wanted to work with. It was very important to me, and by doing that very intentionally, I attracted folks that believed in those same values and same principles, and we all worked really well together and had a lot of fun doing it. Speaking of fun, one of my core values, always my favorite core value, and probably will be part of core values list in all of my companies, is enjoy the ride. Because I just feel like if you're not enjoying working here and this isn't fun for you, you should be somewhere else that's fun for you, right? Like, we spend so much time at work for it to not be fun and not be enjoyable. It's just not the way that I live my life. Now, I know other people who strongly believe work should not be fun, work is work. That's not wrong. That's just a different culture, right? So there's a number of resources out there about building company culture and creating your list of core values and having the right core values and not having what we call aspirational values or table stakes values like, respect and trust. They're good values, and in some cases, you do need to call them out. But they're also kind of, the bar, right? That's minimum to even get in the door. That should be a default, not necessarily a special list of things. So those values, they do have their place, and your values can evolve over time. It's better to start somewhere than nowhere so you have core values that you can use as a tool to start the filtering process. But be careful about aspirational values that your company really doesn't live, because then your employees can get cynical about the value system altogether if they basically think it's BS, right? So if you have a value in your value list, but you're really not living it right now, you might want to park it and see if you can get your company to get there before you say, hey, this is something we do, when nobody there believes it's something you really do. So I'm thankful for everything I've learned about core values and company culture, and I would love to hear what your core values are for your company.